Once upon a time in the city of Spain, a baby was born in 1881 who would one day be called the father of modern art. And when he was just 2 years old, he drew a picture of a caged bird that was so good his father, who was also an artist, had to take up a paintbrush again. After many years of retirement, the boy's mother once said, "It is useless that I tell you that he has talent because you know it as well as I do." Pablo Picasso, the father, knew his son would one day become famous and surpass him. So when Pablo Picasso, the son, was 14, he let him use his own art supplies and gave him his own studio. When the young Picasso was 13, he started attending the School of Fine Arts in his hometown. But instead of learning from his teachers, he taught himself. He would wander through the city, seeing things not as a tourist, but as an artist. He saw shapes, colors, shadows, stories. He observed how sunlight played hide-and-seek with the buildings, and how the sea breeze danced with the trees. Sketchbook became his best friend. It was filled with drawings of beggars, workers, flowers, and animals. Soon his father's art supplies were not enough. He needed bigger brushes, stronger paints, larger canvases. The boy's passion was growing, but school seemed pointless. At 15, he left. Some may have become a doctor, a lawyer, or a soldier, but Picasso, he wanted to be an artist. At 16, he was already good enough to sell his paintings. Still, he knew he wasn't ready. He wasn't satisfied. He wanted more. So when he was 19, he did something most people only dream about. He went to Paris, the capital of art. But Paris was not as glamorous as Picasso imagined. He lived in poverty. He slept in cold, dark rooms. Sometimes he went hungry. There was no money for proper food. But even when times were hard and his stomach rumbled, he never stopped painting. And from this darkness came one of the most beautiful periods in his art, the blue period. His paintings were filled with sad people, beggars, blind men, lonely souls. They were blue, very blue, as if dipped in the ocean of sorrow. Those paintings were not just pretty pictures. They were cries, silent screams of a young man far from home, struggling to make it in a new land. Then slowly, very slowly, things changed. He made friends. Love entered his life. The colors in his paintings shifted to warmer tones. People started to smile again. It was the rose period. His canvases were filled with circus performers, harlequins, acrobats, scenes from everyday life. The critics liked it. People started to buy his paintings. But Picasso was not happy. He felt trapped, like a painter in a golden cage. He didn't want to paint just pretty pictures. He wanted to break the rules, to shake things up. That's when he met Georges Braque. Together, they changed the world of art forever. They invented Cubism. What was Cubism? Well, imagine looking at a painting and seeing not just what it looks like, but what it makes you feel. That's what Picasso and Braque wanted. In their paintings, you can see lots of shapes, colors, and lines, and they don't look real. They look like they're made of bits and pieces of different objects. That's because they are. Picasso and Braque took things from everyday life, like a guitar or a newspaper or a face, and put them together in new and surprising ways. In their paintings, the world was not as we see it, it was as we think it or feel it. One of Picasso's most famous Cubist paintings is called Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. It shows 5 women, but they don't look like women. They look like they've been cut up into pieces. Some parts are flat, like a picture, and some parts look like they're sticking out, like a sculpture. This painting shocked people. They didn't understand it. They laughed at it. Some hated it. But everyone talked about it. And that's what Picasso wanted. He didn't want to be like all the other painters. He wanted to be different, very different. Throughout his life, Picasso never stopped experimenting. He tried different styles, different subjects, and different techniques. He wasn't just a painter. He was a sculptor, a printmaker, a ceramicist. He designed sets and costumes for plays and ballets. He even made a film. He was a genius. And geniuses are never satisfied. In 1937, the German army bombed a small town called Guernica. Picasso was heartbroken. He didn't know the people of Guernica, but he felt their pain. And that pain became his art. He painted Guernica. It was huge, black, white, and gray, like a newspaper splashed with blood. There were people, horses, animals. All of them were twisted and screaming. It wasn't just a painting, it was a cry against war, a cry for peace. Picasso lived a long life, 91 years, and in those years he painted over 20,000 works. He was rich, famous, and loved. But he never forgot the little boy who dreamed of becoming an artist.